The story of Joan begins in Melville, Saskatchewan, sometime in the middle of the 20th century. Like many girls her age, Joan dreamed of one day becoming a beauty pageant contestant, and maybe even becoming a winner and getting a crown. Joan posed in her Miss Melville summer squash pageant dress. She very nearly won the title that year. Dreams of little girls usually come to an end, and Joan was no exception. When Joan was old enough to leave home, she decided to seek training at the Woolworth School of Lunch Counter Management in Green Bay, Wisconsin. By accident, Joan boarded the wrong bus. Her bus was destined for Greensboro, North Carolina. When Joan arrived in Greensboro, she found the local Woolworth store and immediately made friends with the locals. There's a man with a gun over there. They asked if she would sit with them at the lunch counter and just wait and wait. It turned out she was pretty good at this waiting thing, because next thing she knew, a certain doctor by the name of King invited her to a speech he was giving in Washington. Now is the time. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people a whole lot of other people started noticing her. It seemed whenever a big speech was being made by someone important, Joan was there, front and center. Anytime we stopped, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. And whenever one of those big parades was happening, you know, the ones where instead of floats and clowns, there are people with signs yelling out the same thing over and over, Joan was always the parade marshal. She was getting pretty well known all over the country. In honor of Joan's birthday, big music concerts were held in parks everywhere. Thousands of people would show up, and everyone seemed to have a good time dancing in Joan's honor. Speaking of music, one day, 4 lads from Liverpool were on a TV show to sing some songs they had written. They asked Joan to be there on stage with them. Because Joan was there, the audience went nuts and started screaming. You couldn't even hear the boys sing. Joan felt badly for the boys, because nobody got a chance to hear them sing, so she asked if there was anything she could do to make it up to them. They told her they were going to the other side of the world to meet an old man with a beard who would teach them things about spirituality. And if she were to join them, it would make the learning easier. So Joan went with them to a faraway land called India. She met up some people she knew who were going for a walk up a mountain. Because Joan was from Saskatchewan, she had never been on a mountain before. She made it all the way to the very top. When she came back down from the mountain, her friends came up to her and said, "Joan, there's a happening in Berkley. You have to come with us." Joan suspected that she was needed to be another parade marshal again. She took the first flight out to L.A. Once in L.A., Joan boarded the bus to Berkley, but again, quite by accident, she boarded the wrong bus. The bus she got on, it said it was bound for Burnaby. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going on. Now, when Joan arrived in Burnaby, she was shocked to see a city that had been ruined by misguided planning. The people who made the decisions on the city's growth had clearly made some bad ones, and poor Burnaby was suffering. Broken glass everywhere, people pissing Joan knew she had what it takes to get Burnaby back on his feet. She had to take everything she learned from her journeys since leaving Saskatchewan to give Burnaby some much-needed social guidance, direction, and TLC.
Cause a man with the touch repossessed my car. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going.
So Joan marched right down to City Hall and talked to a few people. And they listened and hired her to clean up the city. And she did. And it was good. Now we'd like to thank Joan for her many accomplishments.
I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for saw you smiling in the sun. I wanna feel your warmth upon me. I wanna be the one. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your
Joan has now received the recognition she deserves, has fulfilled her lifelong dream, and finally earned her crown.